Hello everyone, this is Jen Leonard, one of the Altenew educators, and I'm so excited to be part of the October monthly release. Lots of prizes to be had. Let's get started. Hello friends, it's Jen Leonard with the Little Craft Corner, and I am so happy to be here today for Altenew, introducing some of their monthly subscriptions. So first up is the Spark Joy subscription. In this subscription, you are going to get the cupped tulip hot foil plate, along with the very simple coloring stencil, just 2 stencils and 1 layer, and you can create a card with something like this. Next up is the Dynamic Duo Snowy Delight, and you will receive this adorable little set of precious snowmen with their little snowflakes and a very simple stencil set with trees, snowflakes, and snowmen. And if you would like to add on the add-on die set, you can also choose that, but that is not part of the subscription. With this set, you can create cards like this. Last but not least is the Build-A-Garden. Now, I don't know how many of you are Build-A-Garden fans. I, for one, love these. This is going to be your blushing Magnolia, and this is divine. Very large, open-spaced stamp sets, which allow you, with the matching layering stencil, to create a beautiful card just like this, which is done with shading, or if you're more for watercoloring, you can do some watercoloring. So either way, I cannot wait to show you all of this monthly release. So now I'm pulling out this dynamic duo with my snowman, and I'm prepping my card base with anti-static powder, and using the stamp wheel I can layer all of my little snow dudes all at the same time. Using obsidian ink, I'm going to get that placed down, and to give these little snow buddies an extra touch, I'm putting on some clear embossing paste, and then we'll heat set that, and you'll see why in a moment. I love heat embossing, especially these tiny little sentiments, because they then pop off your card. So now I'm going to go get some Glacier Caves artist markers with a little bit of rock collection, and I wanted to give each of my snow buddies just a little bit of coloring in their scarves and their hats. And this is where, honestly, you do not have to be an expert at alcohol marking shading. In fact, this is the easiest way to do it. If you do like to shade, you put a little bit dark first and then go in with your lighter color and blend away. So I don't know about you, but I love winter, and making a good snowman in the winter is just one of the things that I adore. And call me a kid, but I love building a snowman. Alrighty, so going on. Now they're all die cut out and they're ready to go. New release, Fairy Dust. I love this little glitter pack, and I'm going to get my snowmen and give them a little shadowing with a little pop of color with that beautiful accented sparkly piece of fairy dust. I'm using Shimmering Pool to be exact. So what I'm going to do is get a little bit of a strip right across the middle and get that all adhered down, and then I'm going to get my snowmen backed by their Shimmering Pool shadow, and then you have the stencil shadow. So it's almost like, 3 layers of shadowing with these snowmen, which really makes for a fun card. You are going to have so much fun playing with these little snowmen cutouts, and you can arrange them any way you want. I just kind of wanted to have a couple little snowmen popped up off the card with their little hugs and winter kisses. So here is our final production, and I love it. It is adorable. Now we're moving on to the Build-A-Garden card, and get your seatbelt strap because you're in for a ride on this card. To make this beautiful card, we're going to start with a piece of cardstock. I recommend about 100 pound. and we are going to cut it where it is 8 3/4 across, 5 1/2 down. And then on your scoreboard, you are going from the left to mark off 2 3/4 and make a score line. And then again, measure off 7 inches and make a score line. So when it all is said and done, your inner section's 4 1/4. And when it is folded, you have an A2 card base. One of the many reasons I love the Altenew stamp wheel so much is it has a very large base, and that allows you to put multiple stamps on at one time for ease of stamping with your project. So there are 3 stamps on the Blushing Magnolia, 4 images, and I can get all of these stamped at one time. As I finish stamping with the Obsidian ink, please remember to hop along and subscribe to the channels if you have not done so already, and leave us some crafty love. And as always with these Build-A-Garden sets, you have some examples, and Altenew will give you this beautiful layering guide so that you can take each stamped image with very detailed instructions on how to layer the stencils so you can create your beautiful Magnolia images. To create one of the Magnolias, we're going to use the largest image, take out our stencil 1, and placing it on an angle and just sort of nestle the stencil just as shown. Now I know that Magnolias are not in the green-blue family, but Altenew just released one of their newest fresh dye ink lines called the Seashore, and I wanted to try it because why not? When you get a new release, isn't it fun to play? So what I will tell you is that these new fresh dye inks are incredibly juicy. So do be careful. Don't over wet your brush or you'll see what happens shortly. So I'm having a grand old time using all the beautiful inks. I'm using Volcano Lake and I'm blending away thinking, oh, I am just loving all of these colors. And then trouble happens. I take out Emerald, and before I know it, I did not, I did not take off the extra ink. I had too much on my brush. So look at this hot mess, but never fear. I went back and went into Volcano Lake again with a little bit of mountain mist. I thought, no problem, I'll blend out that emerald, which I successfully did. However, because I'm using so much force to blend out the emerald, I wound up with this. And you might be thinking, oh my goodness, there is no way she's going to be able to recover from this mishap. You're going to have to start all over. Absolutely not. We can get through this, guys, so bear with me. A few things I want to point out to you on Stencil 1. There is a line right down the middle that separates the one layer from the second layer. There's also some etchings that allow you to kind of go over what you've just stenciled, so you know your alignment will be perfect every time. But once I get this into place, what I want to have in mind is that the line is here. So the line is right here, and I do not want to accidentally color this. So I will put some tape on that side so I am not tempted to accidentally color that. All right, so I'm not happy with this placement, so let me get that wiggled back into place a little bit. There we go. Get you back wiggled into place a little bit. And there you go. I really appreciate your spending extra time with me on this video because I really wanted to demonstrate how, you know, even when you are creating a video and you're making these mistakes and you see all this ink a mess and you think I have to start all over and maybe you get discouraged, I don't want you to feel discouraged because we're using these phenomenal inks that sort of are in the same color family. All you have to do is blend over and you will still get a great result. So just trust the process, and we're going to continue to blend on. So with a gentle touch, I'm going to finish shading in the rest of the magnolia leaves with a little bit of mountain mist and some lagoon, and promise this time that I will not be heavy-handed. So here I am in the process, and this is probably the ugliest thing I've ever made, but that's okay. We're going to get through it. But I need to pan over. I think I'm distracted a lot today because I have a little helper at my craft table, and this is Miss Poppy. And Poppy is my 1.5-year-old little kitty who loves to join me crafting, and she is the reason for all of my cat hair on my projects. But of course I love her dearly, and it's not a crafting day without Poppy at my side. So per the layering guide, this little bud down here, as I'm pointing, would be kind of reserved for the green growth on a branch, but because we are using the green family, that would not blend well. So I'm going to do a complementary color and go in to use some silver stone and create the contrast. Again, this is a small little bit. I'm using a detailed blending brush. Now, I don't know if you can see how incredibly juicy these are. That glaze, that is how wet these ink pads are. So I'm dabbing off, and I'm just going to go in and give this a nice little touch. Now we move on to Stencil 2 to finish off the rest of the magnolia leaves and their branches. Okay, now I'm not going to do this again. I'm going to be very careful. Take out the big guns, take out the emerald, do some tapping off. Might even do a little extra tapping off on my rag. Just want to bring in that beautiful color. I am not going to even re-ink my brush because there is so much ink on here. So now I'm just repeating the process using Silverstone and getting those little buds all inked up. For your branches, go up a next shade darker using Industrial Diamond, and we're going to shade our branches. If you are a messy crafter like myself, I highly recommend getting the add-on die set. It really is a lifesaver, especially when, well, let's face it, I'm heavy-handed, and that's okay. But I wanted the buds to stand out a little bit extra more, so I just took my the Rock Collection alcohol markers and then went over each of the buds just to fill in that little bit of coloring. I really wanted to, get as much detail on the magnolia as possible. So not too shabby in the end, considering where we came from, right? All right, so now I'm going to take out the Essential black and white paper pack. And these papers are going to adorn each side of my card. I'm going to use the checkered and the polka dotted side and cutting them down into the strips, just adhere them to your card. Now it's time to assemble this card, and I am playing around with the presentation. How do I want the magnolia to finally lay on the card? Now, remember I had that little boo-boo at the bottom, and I'm just going to cut that off. No harm, no foul. I actually like it because I now get a little baby bud that I can place anywhere that I want. So I'm going to do just a tad bit more trimming there, and I'm going to kind of get this into place with some adhesive. When I have a card in this much detail, I love continuing the beauty of the card with some extra flair of color. I love inking my edges to the card. I think that gives it a beautiful finish, and you will find me doing that on just about every detailed card project that I make. Okay, so we have our magnolias adhered. When we open up the card, this magnolia was done off camera, all still with the same inks, with the Seashore ink collection. And now I'm going to add our sentiments. From the stamp set, there's this beautiful little saying, is sending you a little sunshine, and I went ahead and did some heat embossing on there. I have my glue on the back, and just going to tuck that right in there. So we have our sentiment here, and I'm going to now tuck this card back onto itself, put it back on the stamp wheel, which is completely adhered. Again, I love the stamp wheel so much. Just a little note to brighten your day. I think I will put that right up here. Pushing this down one more time so that it's nice and adhered. And I think that should do it. I love the stamp wheel because all I got to do is re-ink that one more time. I can't imagine life before this. Okay. Ta-da! All finished. Okay. Now, here's our finished card. Sending you a little sunshine and just a little note to brighten your day, complete with some cat hair at the bottom, but I don't think my recipient will mind in the least. All right, guys, this was Raw Video. Thank you for sticking by with me today. And as always, please like and subscribe and give crafty love to our contributors today on this video hop. And I will see you next time. Bye-bye. Post-production afterthought, I had a little bit of this shimmering pool glitter cardstock left over, and I just put a teeny little strip on the ridge of the card, covered it up on the other side. That little bit just gave it that little extra touch it needed. So this is the final product, and I thank you again for sticking by on this very long video. Till next time, bye-bye.